When I'm not building robots, I'm playing games with robots in them. Lately that means Arc Raiders, a game full of insane machines. So, inspired by that, I took a broken smoke alarm and turned it into my own mech. Welcome to Cut, Transform, Glue. Okay, so as always, I begin this project by selecting a few parts. The main one, its body, will be this old smoke alarm, which as you can see I completely gutted, removing all the unnecessary parts. I also selected this cute little ball right here, which will be its missile pod. This black capsule-shaped thing for its head. This very good looking plug piece for its secondary weapon. And this round plate to close everything off. And here's my idea. I actually want to use the smoke alarm upside down with the round plate on top, creating this nice smooth surface. Offset to its right comes the capsule head thingy, and on the other side the missile pod. The secondary weapon will be the plug, also sitting on the right side of the robot. Once I'm done with all of that, I'll tackle the legs, which will be 4. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, because we already have the first custom 3D printed pieces to make. The first one closes the gap from the base of the smoke alarm to its body, and the second creates a nice transition for that smooth top surface. There are details on both 3D printed parts that I of course want to keep aligned with the other parts, so I'm constantly finding and marking the center. You can't really see in the video, but the top plate is slightly convex, so I had to do a bit of sanding to glue the black capsule properly. Next, I marked where I wanted the missile pod to be, since I would need to drill a fairly large hole there, and of course, I made a little 3D printed nest for it. Put a hole using a bit of magic and glued the 3D printed nest in place. Some baking soda to reinforce the seam and close any remaining gap. And this sphere sits inside it nice and snug. Now let's put both parts of the body together. Some sanding to increase the surface area, and guys, always remember to wear a mask. And now that the body is closed up, I can work on the last thing it needs, the secondary weapon, which will be attached to the front. Now these are two pretty different shapes to attach together, so as always it needs some kind of adapter piece. I already had the measurements of the body, so I only needed the dimensions of the black shape. And pretty quickly I had this piece which fits perfectly into it. But I decided to shorten it first before putting everything together. I attached the two pieces together with some CA glue and then a bit of brute force. And then I could finally glue it to the body. As always, marking the surface first. Now this is actually a shotgun for close range fights with ground units, so I added a couple of extra bits to give it the menacing look it really needs. And with that, the body of this mech was finished. Do you guys remember this build? This is the low gravity racer spaceship I built a couple of years back. All along its fuel tanks, from the bottom of the cylinder all the way to the top, there are these rings that I 3D modeled and printed. And of course, I had to print a couple of different versions, and whenever I do that, I save whatever I'm not going to use. And this is exactly one of those cases. I'm basically making my own gribblies, just like found parts. Right here I'm using this ring as part of the waste for this project, and this shows how some pieces can be really useful in completely different scenarios. So as you just saw, I combined the ring with a couple of other pieces from very different origins. The yellowed part is especially old, so let me know in the comments if you think you know what era it's from and what it actually is. Older folks like me definitely saw this back in the day. Here came yet another 3D printed part that was unused on a project, not even sure which one. This one required some drilling, and let's just say my hole saw is not in the best shape. It likes to dance, so I gave up on that idea and used a piece of acrylic to shim the part, adding a sturdy metal pin for the connection to the body. Next came the axles, where the whole thing will be connected to the forelegs, and to make sure this won't go anywhere, I added a small screw pushing everything together. These axles, by the way, are also a design from a past project. These are the same ones I used on the dagger build. I'll make sure to put a link to both videos I just mentioned. But yeah, with that, the waist is finally finished, and it's time to work on the legs. As I like to do, I first make a quick cardboard test to define the geometry and size of the legs, and to be able to build them quickly, I'll use some pre-cut acrylic shapes alongside the dagger axle. But forelegs is a lot of work, so let's jump right into it. The axle piece is made up of 3 parts, glued together, plus an M3 bolt and a self-locking nut. Using these axles, along a mix of hand-cut and laser CNC acrylic shapes, will speed up the leg construction a lot, something really important for a 4-legged mech. In this process, sanding the acrylic really helps, with the steel glue, then later the primer, and with you actually seeing the pieces clearly in the video. I'm also making some rounded corners and small details here and there. Now I know the M3 bolt and nut are kinda overkill, but let me pose the leg before gluing every segment together, of course. Plus they're pretty cheap, and now they're my preferred method for making leg joints. And with that, the first leg was complete. But of course, that was just one of the legs, so off camera I made the next 3 copies. And with that, I could finally see this crab standing on its own, and I loved it. Freaky and menacing, just like I wanted it. With the body and the basic leg structure finished, I could start improving the model's silhouette, adding features to make it look more interesting. Right here, on top of what I think is its head, I'll add a couple of antennas, using some beautiful gribblies I've kept in my collection for a long time. But those will have to be glued as the last step in this project after the painting process. I spent a lot of time just looking at it, trying to figure out a solution for the body, which I started to feel was too round. The solution came later in the form of these two black shapes right here. And my idea was to add them one on each side, definitely improving the silhouette of the robot from the top. And of course, this meant I had to make another super complex 3D printed part to integrate these two very different shapes together, and that's exactly what I did, using a caliper and carefully designing the matching parts. To make my life a bit easier during the painting process, I like to keep the pieces apart whenever I can, and the best attachment method is plastic bricks, or as I like to call them, fake Legos. So I, of course, kept a slot for them in this design, which I printed at the best quality my printer could offer. After removing the support material, the shape slides right in. And it was just a matter of gluing a couple of the fake Legos into the slot, attaching the printed piece to the gribbly, and doing the same thing to the matching piece, which will be glued to the body. One last step before attaching the connector to the body was to 3D model a complex detail piece designed to cover that open gap in the front. I figured out the geometry and surprisingly got it right first try. Always a pleasure. And to make sure I'd glue the two side parts aligned with the front of the robot, I marked a few guidelines and used a straight stick with some hot glue. And with that, the robot was pretty much done, and I felt the silhouette was perfect. Everything was ready for the next super fun step. Primer usually takes some time to properly set. It's a thick layer, and the thicker you get it, the better it hides your crimes, giving you a smooth acrylic adhesive surface. So whenever I can, I apply that coat and keep working on the remaining pieces, in this case, the legs. With that, this project was finally ready to be painted. Now, you guys know me. The pain in the painting process is very real for me. It's the only step I actually dread, and the one I try to get through as fast as possible, which means not a lot of your recording happens here, especially because I'm clumsy and my hands are always dirty, so dealing with recording equipment is not ideal. But yeah, the pieces went from primer to a very dark gunmetal and then orange on top. I was aiming to convey some damage on the upper surfaces, and for the legs to be slightly less saturated than the body, getting darker and dirtier towards the bottom. This is a crab after all, so it probably hangs out in the mud, I'd say. Its name is ARIM, which stands for Arc Raiders Inspired Mech, and I'm really happy with the result. Now let's go for the beauty shots. Crawling through the mud, this creature stands guard over a treasure no one has ever managed to take. Alone, it repeats the same route again and again, carving a ritual into the ground. Lines etched like the work of a fractured, obsessive mind. Its surface is scarred, sunburned, metal aged by time, not battle alone, and it has been here for a long while, decades, maybe more. Still standing, still undefeated, still protecting.